Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to another episode of the Q&A series, part of Jumah Nights. Inshallah, today we'll be speaking about the rank of al-Abbas in accordance with the question that we were given by one of the brothers, Labbaika ya Abbas. The question is asked, what is the rank of al-Abbas in comparison to the Imams? I've heard people say Imam al-Abbas. Is this allowed? I also wanted to ask, are all the Imams greater than the Ulu'l-Azm Prophets or just Ashab al-Kisa? These two questions I meshed together because I was asked them in person, and they wanted them to be all in one episode, inshallah. So we'll be discussing first of all the first question, which is, can we say Imam al-Abbas? From a fiqhi perspective, we've looked at some of the verdicts of the ulama, and the ulama have said that if we are intending a linguistic meaning of imam, there's no problem in it. And of course that is understandable, considering we use the word imam for the imam of the jama'ah at the mosque, for example. And also we use the term for scholars, right? You'll hear many individuals saying Imam Khomeini, Imam al-Khamenei, Imam al-Khoi, right? So it's very normal that the word is used for people that are not ma'sumin. So from a fiqhi perspective, it is not a problem as long as the linguistic meaning of imam is intended. But I want to discuss also from an adabi standpoint, from an akhlaqi standpoint. For example, if I'm speaking about, for example, Sayyid al-Khomeini, and I'm speaking about him writing about Imam al-Hussein, and I say Imam al-Khomeini wrote about Imam al-Hussein, that would not be correct adab with the Ahlulbayt alayhim salam. Because in the same sentence, in the same context, I have given someone the same title as the Ahlulbayt alayhim salam, right? So that is not correct from an akhlaqi standpoint. For us to say, for example, Imam al-Khoi wrote about Imam al-Hussein, right? There would have to be a distinction there. I would have to say, for example, Sayyid al-Khoi wrote about Imam al-Hussein. So that there's a distinction between the person that is not a ma'soom and the Ahlulbayt alayhim salam. Because we can never even compare from an adabi standpoint, from a perspective of akhlaq towards the Ahlulbayt alayhim salam, we shouldn't do that if we are speaking in the same context. And this is why when it comes to the personality of al-Abbas, also from an akhlaqi standpoint, al-Abbas, whenever we speak about him in the context of Imam al-Hussein. And it is not possible to speak about al-Abbas without speaking about Imam al-Hussein. Because al-Abbas is the manifestation of wal-qamari idha talaha, and the moon when it follows the sun. The sun here is Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. We see this in the narrations of Ahlulbayt alayhi salam. The hujjah of Allah upon earth is the shams, and then the one who follows him is the qamar. And we know al-Abbas is given the very famous title Qamar Bani Hashim. He is the moon of Banu Hashim, and he encompasses this ta'wil. So whenever we're speaking about al-Abbas, we're speaking about him in the context of Imam al-Hussein. So it does not befits al-Abbas, and I do not feel that al-Abbas would want for him to be called Imam al-Abbas next to Imam al-Hussein. We hear the very famous stories of when they were building the dome of al-Abbas, for example, and they say that it was not able to be built in gold because al-Abbas came to the maker in his dream and he told him that I cannot have the same level as my master al-Hussein. So al-Abbas does not allow for him to be equated with Imam al-Hussein. So from an akhlaqi standpoint, it will be better that it does not become widespread amongst the people, this title, when people say Imam al-Abbas. But from a fiqhi standpoint purely, as I mentioned, from a linguistic perspective, there's no problem with it, according to the fatwa of the Maraja. With regards to the rank of al-Abbas in comparison to the Ma'sumin, which was also asked in the question, al-Abbas cannot be compared to the Ma'sumin at all. The 14 Ma'sumin, none can be compared to them. The 14 Ma'sumin cannot be compared not to the Prophets, not to the Ulu'l-Azm Prophets, not to any of the companions, not to anybody. The 14 Ma'sumin are the 14 Ma'sumin. They are the light of Allah upon earth. They cannot be compared to anyone. But nonetheless, that does not mean that al-Abbas does not occupy a rank that is much more than what we can understand in our feeble minds. We see in the literature of Ahlulbayt alayhim salam that al-Abbas, he's talked about by Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says about al-Abbas, he says, كَانَ أَمُّنَا al-Abbas نَافِذَ الْبَصِيرَةِ. He says that our uncle al-Abbas was somebody with a very deep level of understanding, sulbul iman, with a depth of faith that we'd never seen before. This is what the Ahlulbayt alayhim salam say about al-Abbas. This is the rank that he occupies. And we see the rank that he occupies in all of the ziyarat about him. And the ziyarat are the places where we can get the ranks of the believers, right? We see that we say about al-Abbas, we say, Assalamu alayka ya al-Fadhl al-Abbas ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen. Peace be upon you, O Abbas, the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And we carry on as we end with saying, فَلَأَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً قَتَلَتْكَ. May Allah curse a nation who killed you. وَلَأَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً ظَلَمَتْكَ. And may Allah curse a nation that oppressed you. وَلَأَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً اسْتَحَلَّتْ مِنْكَ الْمَحَارِمِ وَانْتَحَكَتْ حُرْمَةَ الْإِسْلَامِ. وَانْتَحَكَتْ حُرْمَةَ الْإِسْلَامِ. And they disgraced the honor of Islam. Here, when we're speaking about al-Abbas, al-Abbas represents the whole of Islam here. This is the level that we're speaking about when we're speaking about al-Abbas, right? We don't say here that the hurma of the Muslimin was disgraced, or the hurma of the mu'mineen, or the hurma of anything else. The hurma of Islam itself. Islam as an entire entity, its hurma was disgraced when you were killed, Ya Abbas. This is the rank of al-Abbas in Islam, that he represents it completely in its entirety, such that if he is killed, it is the whole of Islam that has been disgraced in his honor. This is what we're speaking about when you speak about al-Abbas. I'm sure that many of us, we recite these ziyarat almost every Thursday in Ziyarat al-Waritha. But think about the words that you're saying when you speak about this individual. وَانْتَحَكَتْ حُرْمَةَ الْإِسْلَامِ. There's a depth to that sentence that it can't be explained even. That's how deep that statement is. We also see in one of the ziyarat of al-Abbas, in Kamil al-Ziyarat, which is one of our most authentic books about ziyarat, we see in the section which is the 85th section of Kamil al-Ziyarat, we have the ziyarah of al-Abbas ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen. Look at the words we use towards al-Abbas in this ziyarah. We say, جئتك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وافدا إليكم وقلبي مسلم لكم. And my heart is in complete submission towards you. وأنا لكم تابع. And I am a complete follower of you. You as a group, you as a collective. وَنُصْرَتِي لَكُمْ مُعَدَّةً. And my support is for you. It's placed for you. حتى يحكم الله وهو خير الحاكمين. Until Allah gives His judgment and He is the greatest of judges. فَمَعَكُمْ لَا مَعَ عَدُوَّكُمْ. I am with you and with you, not with your enemies. إِنِّي بِكُمْ وَبِإِيَابِكُمْ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And I am from you, in you, and in your return, in your iyab, from the believers. وَبِمَنْ خَالَفَكُمْ وَقَتَلَكُمْ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. And I reject those who went against you and killed you. قَتَلَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً قَتَلَتْكُمْ بِالْأَيْدِ وَالْأَلْسُنِ. May Allah destroy a nation that killed you with their hands and with their tongues. These words that we used here are reminiscent of the words we use for the Ahlulbayt alayhimus salam, the Imams, the Ma'sumeen. When we speak about ma'akum la ma'a aduwakum, this is the barometer of truth, yani. This individual, when we say that ma'akum la ma'a aduwakum, this is, you are the barometer of truth, is you that I'm with. I'm not with your enemies. That in its complete and real sense is not for al-Abbas, it's for the Ahlulbayt alayhim salam, for the Ma'sumeen. The 14 Ma'sumeen are the only individuals that this applies to in complete reality. But we say them to al-Abbas here. Why? Because al-Abbas is the face of the Ahlulbayt alayhim salam. He's Qamarul Hashimiyin. He's the door through which you enter towards the Ahlulbayt alayhim salam. So this is the level that we're speaking about al-Abbas in the ziyarat. And this shows us the rank of al-Abbas, which is elite, which cannot be reached, which cannot be understood by our minds. This is the rank of al-Abbas. So we can see here the rank of al-Abbas in comparison to the Ahlulbayt alayhi salam, that he acts as the face of the Ahlulbayt, the door towards the Ahlulbayt, the door towards their ma'rifah, as the one who had the highest ma'rifah of them. So we move to the next part of the question now, where we're going to examine, are all the Imams greater than all of the Ulu'l-Azm, or is it just the Ashabul Kisa' that are greater? And I'm going to actually give an example here and carry on with the example of al-Abbas when we're speaking about the comparison between the Imams and the Prophets. We see in a hadith in al-Kafi, in Usul al-Kafi, volume number 1, we have a hadith where we see the barometer of standards. As we know, the Imams alayhi salam, they say, us Ahlulbayt, we cannot be compared to anybody. The Ahlulbayt are beyond comparison. This term, Ahlulbayt, and Ahlulbayt is the term that was used in the Qur'an in Surah al-Ahzab, verse number 33. إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. That Allah only wishes to remove all impurities from you, O Ahlul Bayt, and to purify you a thorough purification. So the Imams here are saying, us Ahlul Bayt, we cannot be compared to anybody. Sah? Now, we are looking that primarily that is speaking about the 14 Ma'sumeen. The 14 Ma'sumeen, they cannot be compared to anybody. But this term Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, it actually extends. And we see this in this hadith in al-Kafi. We hear from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, is narrated from Mohamed Ali al-Halabi, and in the edition that I have, this is Kitab al-Hujjah, page 319. The edition is Dar al-Murtada. This is not the most famous edition of al-Kafi. It's possible that in the most well-known edition, it is a different page. So in the edition I have, volume 1, Kitab al-Hujjah, page 319, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, وَقَوْلُهُ إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. The verse that I just mentioned. He says, يَعْنِي الْأَئِمَّةَ وَوِلَايَتَهُمْ مَنْ دَخَلَ فِيهَا دَخَلَ فِي بَيْتِ النَّبِيِّ. He says here it's speaking about the Imams, but it's speaking about the wilaya of the Imams. Whomsoever enters the wilaya has entered the house of the Prophet. What does this mean? This means if I am strong in my wilaya, I can reach to that level where the Imams say about me, like they said about Salman al-Farisi, like they said about Abu Dharr al-Ghafari. They say, Salman minna Ahlul Bayt. They say, Abu Dharr minna Ahlul Bayt. This is the highest level that you can reach as a Shi'i. And these individuals, they were included in Ahlul Bayt from a secondary or tertiary layer. So we can see that the term Ahlul Bayt is the highest rank, first of all, and other people can be included within it by being strong in the wilaya. And what we see also in the riwayat of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam is that the Prophets, all of them, other than Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, are Shi'a towards the Ahlul Bayt. We have a bab in Basair al-Darajat on page 107, Bab Akhar fi Wilayat al-A'imma, another chapter about the wilayah of the A'imma. All of the narrations in this chapter, they show you why the Prophets are the Shi'a of the Imams. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, مَا نُبِّئَ نَبِيٌّ قَطْ إِلَّا بِمَعْرِفَةِ حَقِّنَا وَبِفَضْلِنَا عَمَّنْ سِوَانَا. He says there was not a prophet that was sent except with our ma'rifah, the ma'rifah of our rights, and our virtue above everybody else other than us. We see in the next narration, an Abi Basir, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, مَا مِن نَبِيٍّ نُبِّئَ وَلَا مِن رَسُولٍ أَرْسَلٍ إِلَّا بِوِلَايَتِنَا وَبِفَضْلِنَا عَمَّنْ سِوَانَا. There is not a prophet that was sent, nor a messenger that was sent with a message, except with our wilaya, and with the understanding that our virtue is greater than everyone else's. So think about it, the Prophet, he's been sent with the wilaya of the Imams alayhim salam, the wilaya of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. He is a Shi'a of the Imams alayhim salam. How can somebody that is the Shi'a of someone else be compared in status? Can I compare myself as a Shi'i to my Imam? No. The Prophets are the same. They are the Shi'a of the Imams alayhim salam. The narrations continue. The Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says in the next narration, ما تنبأ نبي قط إلا بمعرفة حقنا وبفضلنا عمن سوانا. The same meaning. The next narration, ما تنبأ نبي قط إلا بمعرفة حقنا وبفضلنا على من سوانا. This narration, it continues even onto the next page. There's maybe 9 narrations here which have the same meaning. That the prophets, they are the Shi'a of the Imams alayhi salam. So their rank in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually to the extent of their wilayah. We can't compare even between the prophets and the Imams alayhi salam, because their rank is based on their wilayah towards the Imams. So how can they be compared in their ranks? So what we can see as well also in the narrations is that the prophets, they're from the elite of the Shi'a, right? We see in the narrations with regards to the difficulty in understanding the affair of Ahlulbayt alayhi salam. We see from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam also in Basair Darajat, the Imam says, حديثنا صعب مستصعب لا يحتمله إلا ملك مقرب أو نبي مرسل أو مؤمن امتحن الله قلبه للإيمان. The Imam says that our ahadith, our understanding, our affairs is very hard, is very difficult. None can bear it, none can hold that level of understanding except for a malikun muqarrab, yeah, one of the close, one of the high angels. Yeah, not all of the malaika are muqarrabin. Some of the malaika are just normal angels. He is saying only the closest angels can understand. O nabiyyun mursal, or a prophet that is sent as a rasul. Not all of the anbiya are rasuls, right? Only the ones that are rasuls here he's speaking about. Those are the ones that can bear our understanding. O mu'minun imtahan Allah qalbuhu lil iman. O a believer that his heart has been tested with iman, he can maybe hold this affair, can understand this affair. That's one narration. He says no one can understand except for a high-ranking angel, a messenger, or a believer whose heart has been tested with iman. In another narration, on the next page, we see another layer to the levels of Ahlulbayt alayhi salam. Abi Samit narrates from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam Sadiq says, إن حديثنا صائب مستصعب شريف كريم ذكوان ذكي وائر لا يحتمله ملك مقرب ولا نبي مرسل ولا مؤمن ممتحن. He says, our affair, our hadith are so difficult. They are so honorable. They are so high in intellect that none can hold it. None can bear it. Not even a close angel. Not even a prophet that is sent as a rasul. Not even a mu'min that has been tested in his heart. None can understand it. None can bear it. You might ask, that's a contradiction to the one that says that we read before. No, this is another layer of the Ahlulbayt alayhi salam. There's a layer that we can interact with, and there's a layer that none can interact with. So he was asked, Ya Imam, you're saying that the Anbiya can't understand it, the Mursaleen can't understand it, the angels can't understand it. Who can understand it? فَمَنْ يَحْتَمِلُهُ جُعِلْتُ فِدَاكَ. Who is the one that can bear your ahadith? The Imam responds, مَنْ شِئْنَا يَا أَبَا الصَّامِتِ. Whomsoever we wish to understand, he will understand. This is another layer. Yeah, and you can see that the Imam, he has listed the prophets, the angels that are close, and the mu'mineen that are tested in their hearts, all on one level. He said none of them can understand, except for the ones who we wish. So we can see in the levels between these three, it can differ. A mu'min can be greater than possibly a prophet if the Imam chooses for him to understand, right? Even though the prophets are from the elite. And then we have the last layer of the Ahlulbayt alayhi salam, that which none can understand. That is the haqiqa al-Muhammadiyah. That is the one that is beyond all intellects and all understandings, that which none can understand. Abu Samit also narrates from Imam Sadiq. He says, إِنَّ مِنْ حَدِيثِنَا مَا لَا يَحْتَمِلُهُ مَلِكٌ مُقَرَّبٌ وَلَا نَبِيٌّ مُرْسَلٌ وَلَا عَبْدٌ مُؤْمِنٌ. He says there are from our hadith that none can understand. Not a prophet, not an angel, not a mu'min that has been tested with belief. He asked him, فَمَنْ يَحْتَمِلُهُ. Who is the one who can bear it? The Imam says, نَحْنُ نَحْتَمِلُهُ. We bear it, the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. This is another layer that only they understand. No one can understand. So you can see here that the prophets and the mursaleen, even the prophets that are messengers from them, even they are tested based on their wilayah. The Imams alayhimus salam give them from that which they wish from their ma'rifah. And that is the rank that they are given based on their ma'rifah towards the Ahlulbayt alayhimus salam. As we mentioned, there are those from the Shi'a who are elite, who can also fall into this understanding of Ahlulbayt alayhimus salam. We spoke about Salman and Abu Dhar. But even greater than them are individuals like Sayyidah Zainab. Sayyidah Zainab, what did she say in her sermon? Alhamdulillahi alladhi tahharana min al-rijsi tathira. May praise be to Allah, the one who purified us a thorough purification. She said, I'm from Ahlul Bayt. This is Zainab speaking, right? We see this also with regards to Ali and al-Akbar. We read with regards to Ali and al-Akbar in his ziyarah. Very quickly, we say, وَجَعَلَكَ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْبَيْتِ الَّذِينَ أَذْهَبَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمُ الرِّجْسَ وَطَهَّرَهُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. And Allah placed you from the Ahlul Bayt, those from which purification was made, thorough purification from them. All impurities were removed from them. Ali al-Akbar, he is from the elite of the Shi'a. So al-Abbas, of course, also falls into the same bracket, right? With Abbas and Zainab and Ali al-Akbar, these individuals, they fall into the same bracket, into the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And at the very least, if we are taking the lowest level, and hasha from that, if we take the lowest level, we say mu'minun imtahan Allah qalbuhu lil iman, a believer whose heart has been tested with belief, you can at the very least add them into this bracket. At the very least, although they are not from that bracket, they are greater than that. But at the very least, if we wanted to take the lowest level, this is the level that we're speaking about. And as we mentioned, this is the man shi'na. This is the point where the Imams alayhimus salam, they accept into their wilayah, into their bayt, into their levels and ranks based on their ma'rifah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. So it can be that a mu'minun imtahan Allah qalbuhu lil iman is greater than a prophet in that sense, that a messenger is greater than an angel, greater than a mu'min. It can go either way. It's man shi'na, the Imam whomsoever he wishes. Then we take the example now of Nabi Nuh. Nabi Nuh is not a normal Nabi. He is a Nabiyun Mursal. He is a Rasul. And we also say with regards to the rank of Nuh, that Nuh is possibly the greatest messenger from all of the messengers other than Rasulullah, of course. And you might ask, what's your evidence for this? In the Qur'an, when we're speaking about the greatest prophet other than Rasulullah, what's the prophet that comes to your mind? Most of you, you'll be thinking Ibrahim. Ibrahim was given a very high status, Khalilullah. He was given the status of Imam in the Qur'an. When the Qur'an speaks about Nuh, it says, وَإِنَّ مِن شِيعَتِهِ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ. And from his Shi'a wa Ibrahim. So Ibrahim, he is a Shi'a of Nuh. So who is greater? Nuh is greater. We also see in the ziyarah of Nabi Nuh, when we go to visit him in Najaf, what do we read? We read, Assalamu alayka ya Shaykh al-Mursaleen. May peace be upon you, O the Shaykh of the messengers, i.e. the greatest from them. Of course, excluding Rasulullah. Rasulullah does not enter these comparisons. Of course, for Rasulullah, we say Sayyid al-Mursaleen, right? The leader of the messengers. But when we say Shaykh al-Mursaleen, this does not include Rasulullah. Rasulullah is the Sayyid of all of the Mursaleen. But after him, Nabi Nuh, he is the greatest of the messengers. What do we see about Nabi Nuh in Al-Kafi? In volume number 8, we see Nabi Nuh on the Day of Judgment. The Imam alayhi salam mentions, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, he says, إِذَا كَانَ يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ وَجَمَعَ اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى الْخَلَائِقِ. It's the Day of Judgment. All of the creations have been brought together. كَانَ نُوحٌ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ أَوَّلَ مَنْ يُدْعَى بِهِ فَيُقَالُ لَهُ هَلْ بَلَّغْتَ. Nuh will be the first person that is called. Allah will ask him, did you deliver the message? فَيَقُولُ نَعَمْ. He will say yes. فَيُقَالُ لَهُ مَنْ يَشْهَدُ لَكَ. They will say to him, okay, you say that you have delivered the message. Who is the person that will bear witness for you on this day? That you actually delivered the message. فَيَقُولُ مُحَمَّدْ بْنُ عَبْدِ اللَّهِ. Nuh will say, Muhammad Rasulullah will bear witness for me. Why is he saying Muhammad will bear witness for me? On the basis that Muhammad is greater than me. He will bear witness for me. Sah? Because only the one who is greater can bear witness for the one who is less. This is the concept that we see in the Qur'an with regards to shuhada on the day of judgment. The shuhada are greater, the ones who can witness for you, who can be a witnesser. He can give testimony that you did what you were supposed to do. That's why he's looking towards Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قال فيخرج نوح فيتخطى الناس حتى يجيء إلى محمد. He will go towards Muhammad and he will go past all of the people such that he can get to Rasulullah. وهو على كثيب المسك. And Rasulullah will be on a mountain of musk. ومعه علي. And with him will be Imam Ali alayhi salam on that mountain of musk. وهو قول الله عز وجل فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا. And he says, and this is the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they will see them, their hearts will go, they will become black in fear on the day that they see Rasulullah and Amir al-Mu'mineen. فيقول نوح لمحمد. So Nuh will say to Muhammad, Ya Muhammad, إن الله تبارك وتعالى سألني هل بلغت. Rasulullah, he will say to Rasulullah, Allah asked me, have you delivered the message? فقلت نعم. I said yes. فقال من يشهد لك. فقلت محمد. So he asked me, who will bear witness for you? And I said Muhammad. فيقول, Rasulullah will say, يا جعفر يا حمزة اذهبا واشهدا له أنه قد بلغ. He will say, oh Ja'far and oh Hamza, go and bear witness for Nuh, the Prophet. This is Ja'far al-Tayyar and Hamza, the uncle of the Prophet. Ja'far and Hamza will be sent by Rasulullah to witness, bear witness on behalf of Nuh. Think about that. Ja'far and Hamza are bearing witness for the Prophet, the messenger that we refer to as Shaykh al-Mursaleen, the one who Ibrahim is from his Shi'a. Ja'far and Hamza are bearing witness on his behalf. فقال أبو عبد الله فجعفر وحمزة هما الشاهدان للأنبياء بما بلغوا. Ja'far and Hamza are the witnesses of all of the prophets about that which they delivered from their message. فقلت جئلت فداك فعلي أين هو. The individual asks, so where is Ali? Where's Ali ibn Abi Talib? If Ja'far and Hamza are going to bear witness, why didn't Imam Ali go to bear witness? Look at the response of Imam al-Sadiq. He says, هو أعظم منزلة من ذلك. He is greater than that. He is greater than to be brought down from the mountain of Musk to go and bear witness for Nuh. This is the rank of Ja'far and Hamza. Look at the levels that we're speaking about here when we're speaking about mu'minun imtahana Allahu qalbuhu lil iman. Ja'far and Hamza are the witnesses for the messengers. This is what we're speaking about when we're speaking about Ja'far and Hamza. Then we see in a narration, have you followed what I've said so far? You followed, right? You've seen the criteria, first of all, is the Ahlulbayt alayhimus salam. If you enter into this household through their ma'arifah, the Imams give you from the rank that which they wish. That includes the Prophets, that includes the elite from their Shi'a. We spoke about Ali al-Akbar, we spoke about Zainab, al-Abbas. All of these individuals, they are inside that fold. Ja'far and Hamza are also within that fold, such that they are bearing witness for Nabiullah Nuh. Now that you've followed all of that, look at this narration from Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. Look at the words he uses. He says, Rahimallahu al-Abbas. May Allah have mercy upon Abbas. فَلَقَدْ آثَرَ وَأَبْلَى وَفَدَى أَخَاهُ بِنَفْسِهِ. He says that he really went through pain and struggle, and he sacrificed himself for his brother. حَتَّى قُتِئَتْ يَدَاهُ فَأَبْدَلَهُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ بِهِمَا جَنَاحَيْنِ. Until the point that his arms were cut, so Allah replaced them with two wings in Jannah. يطير بهما مع الملائكة في الجنة كما جعل لجعفر بن أبي طالب. He says that he flies alongside the angels in Jannah the same way that Allah did for Ja'far al-Tayyar. And then look at the statement. He says, وَإِنَّ لِلْعَبَّاسِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى مَنْزِلَةٌ يَغْبِتُهُ بِهَا جميع الشهداء يوم القيامة. He says al-Abbas has a position with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that all of the shuhada on the day of judgment will be envious of that position of al-Abbas. Who does that include? That includes Ja'far and Hamza. Ja'far is mentioned in the narration. Of course, someone may ask, how about Imam al-Hussein? Imam al-Hussein is Sayyid al-Shuhada. Imam al-Hussein does not enter these comparisons the same way Rasulullah does not enter them. Al-Abbas has a status on the day of judgment that all are envious of. All of the shuhada, including Ja'far and Hamza, who are the witnesses for all of the prophets. So where is Al-Abbas then? If Ja'far and Hamza are witnessing for all of the prophets and they are envious of the position of Al-Abbas, then where is Al-Abbas? Right? This is the understanding of the ranks of these individuals in Karbala. And let me add a caveat. Of course, this is a possibility that we're speaking about. This is a amalgamation of narrations. This is a synthesis that has been presented by some of the ulama, speaking about the rank of al-Abbas on the day of judgment. This is a synthesis, and this is opinion from the opinions of the ulama. For example, we have some of the ulama that say, for example, Sheikh al-Fayyad, Sheikh Ishaq al-Fayyad, one of the Maraji of Najaf, one of the most knowledgeable ulama in the world today. What does he say? He says that the Ulu'l-Azm Prophets are greater than the Imams. The Ulu'l-Azm, the ones who were the greatest from the Prophets, the 5 Ulu'l-Azm, they are greater than all of the Imams. That is the opinion of Sheikh al-Fayyad. And the mainstream opinion is no, that's not correct. The mainstream opinion is that all of the Imams are greater than all of the Anbiya other than Rasulullah. That is the mainstream opinion. And some of the opinions are also that, that the Ashab al-Kisa are greater than all of the Prophets, and the others are like on a similar level, or they can be compared on different levels. All of these are opinions within the school of Tashayyu'. And within the details of Aqa'id, what's important to know is that there is no taqleed in Aqa'id. When I tell you, for example, that Imam is greater than all of the Prophets, you shouldn't follow me. You shouldn't follow anyone for that matter. There's no taqleed in Aqa'id. There's only details in which you learn and you understand more in your Aqa'id. So this is something I've presented based on the opinions of some scholars, which it seems to, sit well with me. And I can understand this level of rankings and this barometer of rankings with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So just so you know, this is not like an objective understanding. This is an understanding that has been presented by some scholars, and other scholars present other ideas, and nobody is wrong here. This is a discussion of the details of Aqa'id, not the core of Aqa'id. Nobody can disagree that there are 12 Imams and they are obligatory to follow, and they are ma'soom, and they exhibit special characteristics. They are the divine light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon earth. No one can deny these things. But when we're speaking about rankings, there's a lot of difference of opinion because these are details. I hope that the discussion that we've had today gives us an understanding of the rank of people like Ja'far and Hamza and al-Abbas in comparison to the Prophets, let alone the Imams of Ahlulbayt alayhimus salam, whom we believe in the mainstream Shi'a position that none can be compared to. May Allah have mercy upon Abbas. May Allah make us from his followers. May Allah make him a vessel through which we can reach Imam al-Hussein. May Allah make him a ship towards Imam al-Hussein, towards Safinatul Najat for us. And I hope that we are able to do justice to this individual and this personality in a way that befits him. And I'm sure that we will not be able to do that, but we can try our best. Salam upon al-Abbas. Labbayka ya Abbas. I'll see you next week, inshallah, for our next episode where we will be discussing shur, where we'll be discussing, is shur allowed in fiqh of Ahlulbayt alayhimus salam. Inshallah, I'll see you again for that next week. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.